Hurricane Helene barreling towards Florida and Georgia, both states now bracing. Emergency declarations have been sent out. Officials are holding regular press conferences, and we are staying on top of every single development to get you, your family, your loved ones ready. And this is not just impacts we're going to feel in Atlanta. It is going to be statewide, and for our neighbors in Florida, a lot of us have friends and folks down there, so we want to keep you connected. And to help me with that is our sister station at WWSB in Sarasota, Florida, Stephanie Roberts. I know you guys have quite the storm system coming your way. Hurricane Helene, a major hurricane at this very moment and expected to make landfall. What can you tell us about the folks that are preparing down where you are?
Hi, everybody. Okay, so where we are is just south of Tampa. And honestly, this storm is 100 miles off our coastline. So the good news is we're not going to be dealing with any kind of direct hit. I'll be honest, I think you guys in Atlanta are going to have more winds than we are. We're seeing light winds, light tropical storm winds right now, gusting up to about 40 miles per hour. So this storm is supposed to get parallel to us mid to late afternoon. That's when our winds will be the greatest. But we are most worried here on the Gulf Coast about storm surge. So if you have friends and family down, I'd say Sarasota's going to see a little bit. Tampa's a lot more worried. And then from Tampa and points north, there could be 8+ feet of water piling in from the Gulf into those low-lying coastal areas. So the farther north you go along the Florida Gulf coastline, the more of a storm surge and serious flooding concern there will be. Don't get me wrong, we have evacuated our low-lying areas here. We've got sandbags out, and we've actually pulled our reporters in now from the coastline to inland areas to just keep everybody safe. But I don't want to say this isn't our storm, because we're certainly feeling effects from it, but we are way more concerned about our friends up in the Big Bend area, up across the Tallahassee area, and we're watching as this storm goes inland to you in South Georgia and Atlanta as well, because it's so big and so strong. It may still be a hurricane even when it gets to Metro Atlanta, and we know that's pretty rare. So we're cautiously watching here, but we're very worried about all of you where you are.
I know Floridians get a lot of credit for their tenacity during a hurricane and really not having any fear because you experience them so frequently. But we don't want the message to get lost that this is going to be a fast-moving storm system, a major hurricane, especially for your communities. Have you gotten a chance to talk to businesses and residents that are starting to do that boarding up process?
Oh, yes, we are way beyond that. That was yesterday's job. Any boarding up and evacuations should have been done yesterday. We were still encouraging people to leave and get to higher ground this morning. Right now, we're telling people your time is pretty much over. You know, we're going to see the heavier winds and rains come in later this afternoon. I'd say we don't do as well at evacuating as we should, to be quite honest, because people do sometimes underestimate, especially water. So, you know, we're just hopeful that the storm surge isn't going to cause major problems here. Again, we are south of Tampa. As you look at the angle of that storm track, it's fairly far to our west. As it gets toward the Big Bend, as it gets toward Tallahassee, and as it gets toward you, you're not away from the track, you're on the track. So it definitely is going to be different depending on where you are in the area. So people here definitely know we're all having a tropical storm. They're having a tropical storm as far east as Orlando. This storm is so wide, and that's why you're going to feel those effects later. So we're just getting started. You'll be able to watch it as it comes ashore, but it's going to be a pretty exciting and concerning afternoon, evening, and overnight for all of us, even into the Atlanta area.
Stephanie Roberts with our sister station in Sarasota, Florida, WWSB. I know you all have already been doing such comprehensive, detailed coverage, and that will continue as this storm makes landfall. Just any final words for folks in Georgia, in Florida, that are getting prepared as best as they can?
Absolutely. I guess my last piece of advice is make sure everyone heeds these warnings seriously. I know in Metro Atlanta, you're not used to having hurricanes, but guess what? This one is so fast moving, it may still have hurricane force winds when it gets to you, even though you're that far inland. And regardless, it's going to be a big storm. So please stay safe. We'll be watching you as this goes on as well.
I know a lot of new information is coming in minute by minute, so we want to make it really easy for you. You can text 470-777-WANF, 470-777-9263. We will send you the latest updates, everything you need to know as far as preparations, as well as this is a great spot to share your photos, your videos, what you're seeing in your specific area. We want those. We want to share those on air and online, so do send that our way through this number and follow our coverage. We have the largest team of First Alert meteorologists in the Southeast, and they are hard at work in the Weather Center, hard at work online and on air, bringing you moment by moment updates of this storm system and the local impacts we're going to feel in the next 48 hours.